Hi everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to play with stencils. I find that stencils are becoming one of my favorite ways to create cards because it makes coloring so easy and it's really relaxing to do, and watching it build upon one another is so fun. So today, Spellbinders has sent me a really fun stencil that is being released today, and I get to play around with it and inspire you, and I can't wait to show you how pretty this is. I've already played around with it a little bit just because I was trying to figure out my color combinations, and well, honestly, I just really wanted some quiet time to play. So I also have the coordinating dies as well. They are so nice to have. I love a beautiful coordinating die. And I also have a really nice little sentiment that says hello. Of course, it's backwards right now, but we also have the shadow layer for that as well. So I'm going to grab a little A2 size piece of cardstock, and we're going to use that as our little card panel so that we can begin getting a really beautiful and colorful little floral bloom all assembled with stencils. It's so fun. Okay, I have my piece of cardstock. I'm also going to just place my little tiny sentiment off to the side. That way I don't lose those in the whole process. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some of this mint tape. It's a nice low tack tape. I am going to just place a piece right there, and then I'm going to bring my stencil in. Now, it's hard to see on camera, but there are little tiny numbers. Oh, kind of catch the light there. 1, and then this is 2 right up here. Oh goodness, there we go. And then we have 3 and 4 down here. So I am going to locate number 1, and I'm going to place that on my piece of cardstock just like that. And then I'm going to tape that down. So let me grab some additional tape. And I'm going just to line that up. I'm going to end up die cutting this out with those coordinating dies that I just showed you. So it doesn't need to be perfect in terms of center, but I want to give myself enough room to build upon the other layers. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to place another piece of tape there and another piece of tape here. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my little blender brushes and bring in this little cutie here. Okay, I'm going to bring those in because now I'm going to have fun bringing some color in. And I decided at the last minute I was going to use Sprout for my leaves, but at the last minute I decided on sea glass. I think that'll be really fun. So I have some beautiful ink pads from Concord and Ninth here, and I am going to use this color combination here. So honeysuckle, ballet slipper, sea glass, and grapefruit. And those are the colors that I'm going to use to just set the tone for this color palette. So first and foremost, I am going to bring in a little tap piece of paper just so that I can tap off as I am going. But the first one I'm going to bring in is ballet slipper. Okay, so let's bring in ballet slipper, bring in a brush. Now this color, I really don't need to tap off because it is so light and it comes in so light that, and you'll just kind of realize as you get to know your colors and your ink pads, which ones, you know, come in a little bit bold right away, which ones are softer and end up needing a little bit more layering. For me, ballet slipper is one that it's just so soft and beautiful. It's right up my style alley, but it doesn't need to be tapped off as much as the others because it is just so pale and beautiful. Okay, so bringing that color in. Isn't that pretty? Looks like a ballet slipper. This is a color that is very popular at my house. Very popular. Okay. There we go. That is just about the tone that I want. Now I'm going to do these little blooms up here. There we are. And again, this color can stand to be layered a couple times just to get the color that I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I will do this final one right down here. So pretty. Now, the thing about stencils is that it just makes coloring so easy, and it's really relaxing because you can just watch it build upon itself and take shape. In the beginning, it kind of, you know, just looks like shapes on a paper, and then it starts layering as you add more and more. It's just super fun. Okay, so that is our first layer. I think that looks really good. Okay, I'm gonna put that blender brush away. Put this away. And I'm gonna clean off my stencil really quickly. Let me actually take this off first. Take this piece off. And there is our first layer. How pretty is that? Now don't worry about the little marks down here unless you're not going to cut it out, then you would want to mask off the little circles. But since I'm cutting mine out, I'm not stressing about masking those off or having them appear on my paper here. Okay, cleaning my stencil. And don't forget to clean the back because sometimes ink gets on the back. I'm gonna make sure that's nice and dry before I realign for the second layer. Okay, now I'm going to lay and align my stencil on the second layer, just laying that up visually. Okay, that does look good. So gently placing my tape down and gently over here as well. Okay, now for this color, I'm gonna bring in Honeysuckle. Love this color. Now this one I do want to tap off just a little bit because it's a little bit more bold right away. Just because I want to have a little bit more control over the shade I want to bring in. So I'm actually going to do this a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to avoid these areas here. In fact, I might even, just to be safe, I'm going to bring in some of this Heavy Doodle tape. I'm going to mask that off because sometimes I just kind of forget what I'm doing, or I'm in my creative zone and I don't want to forget to not do those parts. I'm going to use a nice orange for that. Actually, you know what? I'm not. I am going to mask here. I'm going to change my mind on what I'm going to do. I'm going to mask here. Okay, because I want to bring in an orange there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that Honeysuckle to bring in a little bit of color on our little accent pieces here. There we go. Okay. And I like to go a little lighter because I can always bring more in, but it's harder to remove, obviously. So you can always add more ink, but just start light and then build it upon itself if you want it to be darker. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for these accent pieces here. Okay, and then I will make this final little flower actually that honeysuckle color. I'm going to start light. I like that. And then I can add more. I think I actually might go a little bold with this color. And these inks dry so pretty. There we go. Okay, I really like that. Now, let's just move our mask because now I want to cover what I just did, and I want to do these cute little flowers here, but I want to do, oh, it's losing its sticky already. I want to do, actually it's because of the ink there. The ink kind of prevents it. Okay. I will just hold that there. I want to do grapefruit. And I'll bring that in really, really light. And bring some down here too. Okay, so pretty. Okay, now I can just remove my little masks. And my favorite part is revealing the stencil. Isn't that pretty? I think that's so pretty. Okay, now let's put this away. Now I'm going to clean off my stencil once more. Save my tape. Save my tape. And we'll move to stencil 3, which is going to be a lot of greenery. And again, I'm going to bring sea glass in. You could do a little bit more of a traditional green, but I'm going to bring in more of a kind of teal, kind of bluish feel. Not blue, but just a softer tone for those leaves. We'll do there. Now, I'm thinking, now you could do whatever you want for the little middles, but I'm thinking of, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that as an opportunity to bring in some embellishments later. So what I will do is I'm just going to take the residue on my brush. Ooh, let's mask. And I'm going to essentially just give myself a little template of where I want to work. So I'm just going to let myself know for later where those little middles are. I'm just going to do it very gentle. No need for more ink. We're not making a statement or anything here. We're just adding this for later. Okay. And then I can just use the same brush for these because it doesn't matter. Later, we're just going to kind of stay within those areas to do a really pretty, I might need, now I might need a little bit more, a really pretty look with some sequins just to bring some shine in. Okay, there we go. Okay, who knows if we'll even see that, but we will see in just a moment. Okay, now I'm going to very gently kind of wipe away any of that orange because I don't want it to get on my teal brush. Now let's bring in our sea glass. Okay, now I'm gonna go super light with this because I'm gonna use the same color to do the accent pieces on the next one. So I'm going to go very, very, very light, and let's see. Let's be gentle around those middles there. Even though we're gonna cover them up, I still don't wanna add any teal there. Okay, so super light, super, super light. Okay, I think that is the tone I want to have there. Again, I'll just kind of have a little mask there and go really light and finish up these leaves. Okay, and I know it seems light for this, but again, we're gonna layer this same color on this final stencil because I want to kind of do a tone on tone for the leaves and the little stems. So it's just going to be kind of my creative call there. Okay, and finishing up these last couple leaves. How pretty. And you know, you could do fun shading here if you want to, you know, add some darker tones towards either the bottom or the top of your leaves, probably more at the bottom, but you can have fun, you know, creating a lot of realism and dimension by, you know, bringing in a little bit more shading here. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to still use this, but I want to just move it to the side for a second. Let's reveal this layer to see. Oh, isn't that pretty? That's super pretty. Okay, cleaning off the stencil, and then we will realign for our fourth and final layer. Okay, and finally, here's our final layer here. And these are more of the stems and kind of the vines within the leaves. Okay, so my stinky camera, well, actually it was my fault, but it's just more fun to blame somebody else. So we're gonna blame the camera. It stopped recording for a second. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. So what I did is, you see the finished look here, but what I did was I lined that stencil up like you saw, and then I used the same color. So it was lined up right about there. And I used the same color with the sea glass, and I just went in a little bit heavier. So instead of going light like I did, I went in heavier and I filled in the little vines and the stems. Isn't that pretty? So I'm not going to re-record that and worry about it. I'm not going to start over because I think you get the picture, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take my layer, or my little coordinating die here, and line that up so we can cut this out. Lots of giggling behind the scenes today. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's actually kind of stormy, and so everyone is singing "Rain, Rain, Go Away." Okay, we're gonna cut this out and look at the final little look. It's gonna be so pretty. It's always so pretty once it's cut out. Okay, bringing in my Spellbinders Platinum 6, I have my base plate and my cutting plate. Bring in this little guy, and then my top plate. Okay, let's just place that there and send that through. There we go. Snap, crackle, pop. And let's check out, oh, it did beautiful. So now we can, oh, sometimes the tape cuts just a little bit, but that's okay. Now we can take this off and reveal how pretty. And I love that it cuts in between a couple of the flowers there. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to take a couple additional pieces of cardstock. I have a lot of scrap pieces around, so this is a great way to use scraps. I'm going to cut out a few additional layers just so I can build this up underneath. So I'm going to grab some scraps and I'm going to cut out just this shadow layer, and then we'll glue them together. Okay, now I'm just going to take some glue and glue all of my layers together. It just really gives it some dimension, and it really makes it nice and thick and bulky, which I really like. Now, if you still wanted to do dimension and skip this part, you can just use foam tape or foam squares. That absolutely works as well. I have just been really loving the whole paper on paper look. Not saying that I won't add some foam squares just to really make this project pop, but I love a really thick layered die cut. It's so pretty. Okay, and that final one, just wiggle that into place. How pretty. Just kind of pinch those little areas so they all line up. Isn't that nice? Okay, I'm gonna grab just a little block real quick. Really flatten that, press it down. And I didn't speak to it, but do you see how just using the residue or remaining ink on the brushes, it just kind of gave us a little template. So no need for more ink there, but it gives us a little area to know where we want to do the embellishments. And not even necessary, really. You could just plop some in the middle, but I kind of want to do, well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, now what I'm thinking is I want to, let's play around with a panel. I'm thinking we will emboss. Yeah, let's do some embossing. But first, before we do that, let's trim down our panel. I have an A2 size at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I am going to trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that is just removing 1/4 of an inch off each side. And now I need to decide on an embossing folder. Okay, so I'm going to place my cardstock within my embossing folder here. Close, and let's run that through and have a really nice embossed effect there. Okay, now I have my platform. I have my embossing folder with the paper inside. I have my top plate, but before I do my top plate, I am going to just add a couple layers of cardstock there, just as a shim. And reveal Ooh, so pretty. That is, oh, this one's always so pretty. I love this. Okay, let's go ahead and begin building this card, but we also need to think about a sentiment at some point. Okay, I have a card base here of 110-pound cardstock, and now I am going to score this at 5.5 because my dimensions are 11 by 4.25, and I want to do a top folding A2 size card. So center will be 5.5. There we go. And I will just press that down really nice. Okay, now let's attach our panel here and get everything kind of built up. Let's put this here and add foam tape. And you know, I think I will probably add some additional foam tape to my beautiful blooms here because I just think it'll be so pretty. And why not, you know, this far in. So have your card turn out the way you want it, right? Okay, there is that. Super pretty. And keep you straight. Let's take these little pieces off and place this down. Okay, there we go. And center just like that. Voila. Okay, I think, oh, that's so pretty. And I'm going to allow, you know, that to just fall off the card there. You can absolutely get it tucked in so that nothing does, but I like that. And I'll just place it in a little bit of a bigger envelope. Maybe not at the bottom though, because when it's sitting upright, let me visually explain this part. When it's sitting upright, I don't want that bottom part to be making it crooked. So maybe I'll allow it to go up that way. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm just turning this over and adding some foam squares to the back here, just because I do want that additional dimension, but you absolutely can skip this step. And trimming some of these in half so that I can place them on the leaves. Let me know if you enjoy doing stencils as a way of adding color. I am finding that at first I don't know. I always thought it was really intriguing, but now I find that I'm searching it out. Anytime I see a coordinating stencil, I am all for it. Sign me up. And I mean, I said it before, but I'll repeat myself because I can, but I love the element of surprise as it comes together. It's so fun to watch it build on itself, and I don't know. It's just a process that's really fun and relaxing. Okay, lots of adhesive here, but I don't feel guilty at all. I am going to very much love this card in the end. Okay, there we go. And one itty bitty one here. We don't want anything to bow down. Okay, I think I will just let that, oh, isn't that pretty? That's really pretty. Which way did I have it? Did I have it this way? I don't even know. You can't go wrong. I think I did have it this way. Yeah. Okay, I might tilt it actually like that a little bit. I'm going to focus on the sentiment very quickly. And I'm going to bring some of my little pieces back in because this sentiment is so little. I'm going to use my scrap pieces and cut this sentiment out. And then I think I'll bring some colored cardstock in for the shadow layer. I'm actually pausing for a minute on the sentiment. I know I'm going to do it, but I'm kind of second guessing the colors that I want to use. And I want to pause because I think that I need the full effect. So I'm going to add these little dewdrop embellishments. They're these, I think they're called glitter drops. And I'm going to add these to my centers in a variety of sizes. I love how that looks. I went ahead and just really focused on what I wanted to do. And look how that turned out. I love just the randomness in size. I just think it kind of resembles the middle of a flower really well. And then I just went with single big ones there on each side. So I like how that looks. I think that's pretty. And I also like that I slowed down for a second and did that before deciding on just the palette for my sentiment, because I'm kind of thinking I might bring gold in for my sentiment. So let me grab a gold, and then I think I'll probably just do a white shadow layer. I think that will be really pretty. So let's go ahead and let's just start cutting. Let's start cutting out some sentiments and seeing what our eye likes. Here's another reason to keep all of your scraps. In fact, I almost tossed this the other day because I was trying to be realistic and if I was really going to use this, but thank goodness I decided just to wait on it for a second because I was able to get a cut out of that. Okay, I actually only did an extra layer in white because I found in my scrap box a little piece of 120-pound cardstock, which is just beautiful, but it doesn't take much because it's already nice and thick. So I am only going to do one additional layer of white under that gold, and just making sure all my little middles are popped out there. Sometimes they're just so teeny tiny. I need, oh, it came out. Okay, there we go. So hello. Just like that. Let me grab tweezers and turn this around and add just a little bit of liquid glue. This is so dainty and thin. I probably should have used spray adhesive, but I can manage. And the glue always dries clear, so the glue dries clear and I can always wash my hands. More of it is getting my hands all sticky. Okay. I also don't want to get any glue on the top because I don't want to dull that beautiful glitter. Okay. Let me do the final little piece here. Oops. And we'll be good to go. This is the hard part, is this dainty part, but made quick work out of that. Whenever you have a thin or maybe challenging piece to line up, that's when you bring out your thick cardstock. I don't use my 120-pound cardstock a lot. I would if I could, but I just try to save it for special occasions or times when it's going to make it so much easier to only layer once or twice. Okay, there we go. And there. Okay. So I'm thinking, well, let me get my little hello in there, but I'm thinking of maybe doing the sentiment right here. I feel like it's just a natural spot where that could go. So pinch that back into place. Got one little spot here. There. But I don't want to take my foam backers off of this just yet because I want to get a visual of if I like where my sentiment is going to go. That way I have a little bit of freedom to rearrange if I need to. Okay, and finally the O. That is super pretty. I like the look of that a lot. Okay, easy peasy actually with the liquid glue there. Okay, so what I'm thinking is doing that. I actually really like that. It's just simple. It's simple but pretty, and I like this kind of nestling right here because I don't want it to cover up that pink flower too much, and I don't want it to cover the orange one too much, so it's just a natural spot for it to go there. I also like that it's going to kind of come off of the card just like so. Oh, because I forgot I wanted to kind of do that. I think that's pretty. Okay, I really like that. So I think that's my final answer. So let me do this first. I'm going to take all of these little backers off. One thing I like about these particular foam squares and this brand, I'll link these down below, is that the backers come off so easy. There are some adhesives where the little liner doesn't come off very well and you spend more time taking the liner off than anything else, but these are so simple to do. Okay, and then we're going to probably, oh, you know what I did? Oh no, I didn't. I was thinking I flipped it upside down. Nope, this is where I wanted it. Okay, between the pink and the orange. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna grab my little foam pieces once more, just to build up just a little bit on this O, I think. Yes. Yep, because everything else will kind of be tucked in there nicely. I could even do right here, kind of on the H and the E. Yeah, I think that feels really nice. Okay, I'm going to add liquid glue up here, here, and here. And I think that will be good. I honestly didn't probably need it too much on the L, but wherever you don't use it, it will dry. And wherever it comes into contact with paper, it will stick. Oh, that looks so nice. Oh, that's so simple and nice. I really like that. And you know what? That is the finished card. I am all done. I love how that turned out. I love the softness of the very neutral embossed background. And I love that it gives a little bit of texture, but the color of the actual stenciled floral image is what the whole story is about. I really love that. And then adding in, instead of doing a little bit more detail with the blending brushes and the ink, instead I really like the idea of adding that pretty little gem. I think that just looks really nice, and it also really ties the sentiment in as well. Just sparkles, and quite honestly, you could very, very easily mass produce this, especially because the coloring is so easy when you are just in ink blending with the stencils. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. This was really fun for me to put together. I always appreciate a good stencil because it's very relaxing to do, and I hope it inspired you as well. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching, and I cannot wait to continue crafting with you in the next video.